Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at basic attention tokens, valuations against Bitcoin, as well as the US dollar, looking for a retest. Remember, if you do like this video and the other videos that I make on this channel, be sure to hit the like button down below and also consider subscribing. Well, one of the factors that I said that basic attention token would need to meet would be to break this downward line of resistance. And just to refresh your memory, this green line isn't necessarily a hard line, but it's the general trend where we see resistance occur throughout basic attention tokens macro history. There are times where we do peak above it, like what we did see in August of 2020, but the week after we immediately closed below it. The only time that we saw um, something different would have been here in 2019 of April and March, where we saw weekly closes above the line and we were able to get above it to the peak of 8,000 Satoshis or so. And so this is what we essentially want to recreate this time around. So the fact that basic attention token was able to close above the line last week is a great step forward. The second step is to simply just close again above it. We're down about 11% for the week, which I would say is kind of expected. I mean, the basic attention token has rallied roughly to where we are 153% against Bitcoin, and to the wick 240%. So things have been very good for basic attention token for Q4 essentially since October. So what we would like to see is kind of a retest of prior highs, and the prior high would be around 2,472 Satoshis, around this line here. This is what I'm referencing. We're quite close to it, but this is, at the very least, I think would be a good place to test support to before we go on to higher highs. Um, and so that's kind of what I'm looking for. Another thing to keep in mind with the BAT BTC chart is the RSI. If we look at the RSI, you can see that we peaked out just last week to 70.68 RSI. The last peak where we came back down peaked out at about 68.94. In 2019, we peaked out at about 75.21. So we're in the realm of a peak according to the RSI, right? If we're just looking at the RSI, we're looking at a peak on the RSI. So that is a cause for concern. But I can say that altcoins can show that it can go well beyond 70 on the RSI, especially on the weekly. It wouldn't take long to show an example of that. If we take a look at Ethereum, for example, going to like 86, Bitcoin USD, 99, the last peak that we had just recently, the last year was 94. So we can see that it's entirely within the realm of possibility of basic attention token going higher than 70 on the RSI. I'm just saying that it's pretty consistent in where it kind of peaks out, and it's usually about 70, within the realm of 70. So that's something to also keep in mind. With that said, I did sell a position of basic attention token at $1.75 or so, $1.77 last week. So I do now have less basic attention token than I did last week, but I still hold my core position, albeit it's very small, because I am still hopeful that we will reach our targets within the year. And so that's kind of like what I'm waiting for, and that's why I'm saying that I'd like to see a retest of this so we can bounce off, get to higher highs, so on and so forth. But just to keep in mind that there are immense selling pressures, right? Immense selling pressures. And I think basic attention token is one where the selling pressure is pretty high, right? We have, when you look at the platform that's used, Brave, and people how they accumulate basic attention token, a lot of creators that are on the BAT platform instantly sell their positions unless they're a BAT holder, right? Unless they're bullish on BAT, they'll be instantly selling their positions, to convert it into US dollars so they can, use that as income for their for their YouTube career or something, their social media career or whatever. Um, I think people who are using the Brave browser, who are like on the Brave browser Reddit's subreddit, for example, are not necessarily instantly selling their positions, but I think creators have the incentive to instantly sell their position, much like miners, to get that to get their income, right? To get use their basic attention token as usable income. So there is that selling pressure there. Along with that, we are at, all-time highs. So selling pressure gets exponentially more difficult the higher we go, right? Because keep in mind, you're talking about people that were buying here, including me, right? I was buying at around 20 cents, 30 cents, and now we're at a dollar 51. So my my selling power has increased, you know, uh, by 700% or so, 600%, compared to yours. If you're buying here now, if you're buying at a dollar, dollar 50, my selling pressure, where people have been buying at 20, 30 cents, their selling pressure is going to be a lot higher than yours. So that's just something also to keep in mind. I'm not saying that basic attention token is not going to be making any more all-time highs. In fact, I'm fairly confident that it will. But I think it's important to level expectations and be rational, be realistic. Uh, so with that said, when looking at the US dollar, we know that the RSI on the US dollar can shoot up to 90, as it did back in April. So, and considering we're just at 72.94, it kind of insinuates that there's a lot more room to grow for basic attention token. And that's essentially it. And here we're already testing the prior all-time high, right? If we're just taking the weekly closes and kind of do that, we already wicked to it this week. So as long as we're able to hold these levels, I think basic attention token is setting itself for a pretty good run. Just as a, quick math, if we rally to 4,500 Satoshis or so, that would bring it to about, multiplied by a Bitcoin price of 58,000, that would be about a $2.61 basic attention token. Pretty nice. Having said that, because we're talking about realism, some people are talking about a $10 basic attention token, which hey, like I'd be all for a $10 basic attention token, but that would require um uh a lot of things to be good for basic attention token. Let's just say, like, even if we're talking about the price from the beginning of the year, which was about 22 cents, and we go up to $10, we're talking about a 4,500% increase, which, hey, I'm all for, but I don't necessarily know if basic attention token has the ability to. If anything, Bitcoin's price would have to be at $100,000, and it, like the Bitcoin price has to be at a higher valuation than it is right now, in order for that to be conceivable. And at that point, we would have to look at the BTC chart and then take that into consideration, and then we could then decide if $10 is within the realm of possibilities. At the moment, right now, it's very hard for me to believe that that is possible, but I'm always willing to keep an open mind. Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.